Hi, everybody. Okay. Thought I'd talk to you while I cleaned, if you don't mind. I did get my microphone. Oh, ta-da! Okay. So I got my cleaner. I'm working on it right now. Started cleaning the top of it off, and as you can see, that water is pretty nasty. Move this mouse. I'm not using it right now. And of course, my crochet is under the table. I don't know about y'all, but uh, the old saying, idle hands, idle mind, not a good thing. I agree. My hands like to be busy. I always like to be doing something that is useful, whether I'm crocheting and creating another blanket for next year or a shawl for next year. I have a couple shawls, but I gotta tell you, I don't do the fancy stuff. I am basic. I like mine to last for quite a while, actually. So um, I'm not real big in the fancy stitching. I do the most basic because a crochet blanket with a simple stitch not only will keep you warm, but it allows your body to breathe. And that's good for your skin, that's good for your body. So, all these stickers were on it when I bought it. We bought it used, of course, as we did. Well, actually, we were given it in one of the donations, and I just never peeled them off. Now I washed them off, of course, like I'm doing now. As you can see, it's bottled water, $1. I never charged anybody though. I never made $1 off it. So that one can actually come off there. I got a what you call it that'll take it off there, but I ain't too worried about it right now. Most of the thing I'm worried about is um, the bugs stuff, because bugs actually leave a ton of skin and feces on things that they interact with, kind of like humans. I know that probably sounds bad, but truthful nonetheless. My kitty cat, my darling girl, uh, she actually wasn't in here demanding her lunch on time, which she knows the sound of that dam as much as I do, and that means lunchtime for her. So, while this is getting nice and cold, get it nice and cleaned up. At least as best as I can, you know what I mean? It ain't gonna be perfect, but it will be clean enough to put my food in and keep my food fresh and from going bad. And knowing I get to protect some of my own stuff matters a lot to me. Hold on, my phone is ringing over here behind you. Okay, I missed it. Might have been my grandbaby. My granddaughter likes to call me sometimes during the day, and she wants to sit and chatterbox, which is fine. I'm good with the chatterbox. How about you? Okay, what do we got here? How about some real turkey and golden giblets? This Pearl. I don't think everybody can see her, but there's my girl up there on the counter waiting for her food as usual. And she's got a good appetite for such a teeny gal. She don't weigh maybe 2, 3 pounds. She don't weigh very much at all, but she definitely can eat like she's a 5 pound cat. All right, baby, I gotta put your food right there for now. All right, so that's good. That's icky. That's some nasty water. I wish you could see it, but it's really nasty. I don't know how well that's actually showing it, but it's really dark brown. Okay, I gotta get me some fresh water. I'll be right back on the screen, and then I gotta get the bleach so I can start cleaning the inside. Everybody, I gotta have a bucket for water. I'm using a bowl. I'm using a bowl. And there's a reason I'm using a bowl. It's because I can only handle a small amount of water where I am right at the moment. And having a big bucket to deal with would make my job just twice as hard. So this is much better. I get my water nice and hot. Clean my rag out good. A little bit of bleach. Come on, baby. Get nice and warm. Mama needs some water. But, okay, my bleach water is bleaching up. And I get to clean the inside of this thing. Oh my goodness, that is so nice and cold. It's going to be really good. But this is basically what I gotta clean up. I don't know how well you can see it. I'm not used to doing this with my Chromebooks. This is kind of new to me. So y'all have to bear with me. Oh, my water. I'll be right back. Just bleach water. When I gotta disinfect something to make it usable and safe for my food, I use bleach water. I know it's old school, but I can also remember the days I used to go into schools after a lot of bacteria and stuff, kids getting sick. They go in and clean the schools with bleach to kill it. So using it nowadays just kind of seems to make sense. You know what I mean? Ooh, that was nasty. Been in there a while. But sometimes I think we complicate life, especially based on the propaganda that we're fed. I mean, right now, do you know how many times? Well, back in 2012, I was really sick. And I was living in my daughter's house, and I did not leave my room much because I could hardly walk. I didn't have a lot of strength. It was just before my surgery. And the Armageddonists were going crazy. Now, I hadn't spent a lot of time on the internet at that age, at that point in my life. I had just moved back to Texas from Michigan, actually, was where we were living when we moved back to Texas from up north. We had been living in Chicago with my parents for a while, got a place in Elmhurst. And that place, that was the vibratingest house I ever lived in. There was so much traffic that went through there night and day. The house vibrated all the time. You know how you put knickknacks up on a shelf? I would walk by in the morning, push them all back while I went into the kitchen, and not even looking, just pushing them back because I knew they needed it. And one of my friends came all the way from Texas, and she stayed with us overnight. And she said, no, the bed was fine. She slept on a futon couch that we had. And she said that was fine. It was the house shaking all night. It kept waking her up. And big rumbles, and have the sounds of air brakes and semi trucks that travel at night. And many do because there's less traffic. It's actually safer, even though they can't see as much ahead of them as you can when you are I tried to get these out once before, so I know what a pain in the butt it is. See, it looks like it'll pop out so you can clean it. There you go. That's the first time I've ever got it. All right, let's go put it over here at the sink. I got more of these to clean. I got the shelf, some brackets, stuff like that. But trying to get into all these tiny little places on this thing can be a headache. But it was fabulous. When I used it before, it worked great. In fact, out of all the stuff in my store, it worked the best. And it was so hard on me to. I had a bunch of stuff when we finally sold the house from my store. I had a way bunch. Oh my gosh. I had dumpsters. Dumpsters. And believe me, I paid for those dumpsters to empty that stuff out of there and get it out and make it so that the new owners wouldn't have to deal with it. Was a nice big pole barn, good garage kind of setup that we used for the store. And it was well worth it. So, here, maybe this will help some because I'm a lot bent over anyway. But yeah, I miss that store. It could be a hell of a job, and I'd work long hours going through sorting stuff and deciding what to keep, what to get rid of. Is this one going to pop out or no? It shows that it should, but I'm afraid I'll break it. So we'll do what we can. I don't want to break any parts of it. I need them all. But this is my normal day. Solve whatever problems are in my way if I can. If not, that man in there sleeping does. Between the two of us, we can usually come up with a pretty fair solution that benefits both of us. I guess that's why they call it a team, huh? Team effort. Welcome to marriage. Because if you're thinking you both have different jobs and you're assigning your jobs by your gender, you're going to be very disappointed because there are times that my husband has handled my children 100 times better than me. So, and he deserves that recognition. And it had nothing to do with him and his sexuality. It had everything to do with who he was as a person. And to decide who he was as a person, all I had to do was look at his good nature towards other people. And that genuinely will tell you, good person. He was worried because I was coming out of a rough, rocky marriage when he and I started dating. And he told me one time, he said, I want you to go and date other guys. I'm the only one you've dated since you left your husband. And I know guys ask you out all the time at work. And, I was working as a waitress in a truck stop. So, yeah, you get lots of invites. But on the same token, he wanted me to do it so that I could be sure about him. How many people do you know would do something like that? No, I know I'm the first guy who's come into your life since your ex, and I want you to be sure that I'm not just a fallback, uh, that this is real. Now, how many guys so young, 18, almost 19, were think like that? They don't. And I recognized right away what kind of difference I had in him and who he is as a person. So I'm sorry guys, I'm getting winded. I got a little bit left to do, and then the refrigerator will be done. Leave it open, let it dry, and get my food in there. So guys, bending over is so hard on my heart. It pushes my hernias up, and then when I lean over, the pressure on your heart changes because you're bent over. Excuse me. But so that's my day today. I'm cleaning. I'm trying to make good on some really bad things. So look, I don't care how hard life gets. I've been through some times that would probably try the best of people. Their patience, their intelligence, their stress, and their strength and self-control. Because in my youth, that was, of course, the hardest thing I had to deal with was self-control. Uh, you know, this is where we learn, how we learn. And all these things that we're making out to be God, awful things, are learning processes. And, someone once told me, God will never give you more than you can handle. I don't think God gave everything to me that I had to handle in my life. I think a lot of it I chose because I needed knowledge on those things. Were they as bad as I thought or good as I thought? I had to take what I learned from whatever lives I've had before and see if any of it applies here. And the only way to scientifically test something is to see if it works. And then see if it works again. See if it works again. And once you've got your repetitive successes, you know you're on the right path. So if y'all are feeling lost about anything, there's so much going on in this world, and a lot of us aren't touched by it. When I say touched by it, I mean physically. I didn't go through what the people in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina all have gone through. I haven't gone through those things. They are. And their resilience is their strength. Their unity is their savior. And these are good folks that don't like to use the government, don't think that it's healthy or wise to use government help. Especially when you have good old neighbors that'll grab their own chainsaws. Come on over. Somebody will bring the food. Everybody will get fed. Everybody will work. And everything will be better. It isn't going to be what it was. It took you years to build it up to that. But it will be your next goal in life. And you may find, there were some things about it, the way it was set up before, that I found out didn't work as well as I thought it would. Maybe I'll put them up differently this time. And that's how homesteads grow. Homesteads take, I always thought of a homestead, you think of some person living out off grid, and that is not a homestead. A homestead can even be in a city. A homestead is where the people come together to eat, drink, and share. The homestead is the place where all that is stored. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. I don't know. I can't fix our world, but I sure can fix what's around me. And if I can't fix it, then it's time to change whatever it is that's not working anymore. And that's where I'm at with this situation. So, my grandmother always told me you want a different view, then you got to change your perspective. And I was like, what? What? And she'd tell me, look, if you look at the same holler long enough, you can tell you everything about that holler. But I can't tell you what's on the other side of that mountain. And if that holler should burn, forest fire, lightning cause it something catastrophic should happen to that holler, but not happen to the one on the other hill over there. There's a good chance what I need to survive in the holler I'm in is right over that hill. But if I don't know those people, because I didn't bother to communicate with them in any way, maybe because I never had a need to go into their towns. Well, if I am starving, I have a need. And I need to get to know those folks. Because if I can't fix it myself, it's going to take the help of others. And that can be in the city, that can be applied in the city, the rural areas, and way out in the boondocks. Now, a lot of people will say I'm out in the boondocks. I would say, no, I'm not. My area is quite populated, and the population here is actually still growing because it's right now one of the most affordable places in the U.S. And but you got to be prepared for nature. If you're a city folk and you're going to move out here like my parents did, you have no idea. Your neighbors aren't going to be people. They're going to be an armadillo. They're going to be squirrels. They are going to be raccoons. They are going to be insects. And that's your new neighbors. And if you don't learn how to live with them, they will run you off because they'll swarm you. And living with them means sometimes you have to push back their population a little bit just to make enough room for you. You go further than that, you're taking more than you need. I don't have everything I want. I don't, you know what? I don't think I ever will. It seems like every time I get something that I do want, I add to that list of things I now want. So, I don't know. Learning how to get them is a little trickier, but it's still a great journey if you're strong enough. And I think most Americans definitely are. And our immigrants, most definitely are, especially if they made it across the terrain I've seen these people have to travel. So, yeah. All right, guys. American Granny's done yakking for another while longer so I can finish cleaning that thing. The bleach is giving me a bit of a headache. And it's already 3:30 in the afternoon, so I still got quite a bit of work to do. I love y'all. Be safe. And remember, don't give up. Even on your worst days, just know, even if you have 10 worst days in a row, my son does that. But he never gives up and he never quits. And his success is slow, but he is succeeding. And that makes me very proud of him. My sweet baby boy. I used to call him my little man. And his name is Stephen Hatley. He's a fine, fine young man. Very proud of him. American Granny out.